This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 417 for the week of Monday, May 2nd, 2016. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
On today's show, we have our volume recap of Volume 81 and an anime recap of episode 739. But before we get started, I want to introduce our guest for today. Our person of honor, I don't know what you'd like to call him. He's more than a very special guest today because he's going to be taking us through the volume recap, and that is translator for One Piece and Weekly Shonen Jump, Stephen Paul. Hey, Stephen.
Hey, I like that person of honor. Like, could you just refer to me as your honor today? That'd be awesome.
That goes for everyone has to refer to Stephen as your honor today. Just today, though. I'm not doing that after.
Sure thing.
Whatever you say, Your Majesty.
We have Eisner Award nominated author of Mermin, Joey Weiser, with us today. Hey, Joey.
Hey, and I have prepared a list of comments and pieced together answers and things from the last few episodes I've missed. This should only take about 45 minutes.
No, we will not be doing that. Nice try.
Okay.
Not happening. We also have joining us with Ed is the dude.
Hey guys, how's it going?
How's it going with you?
I don't know. I wonder how many times per episode all of us like together say how's it going? Because I feel like that's a thing.
We're all very concerned.
We
about
are.
each other.
So yeah, as we mentioned on today's episode, we have the volume recap, the anime recap. We're also going to go through the latest Patreon projects as well as some piece together. And the big thing we want to go through at the top of the show here is that we are turning 7 at the end of this month, if you believe it. Yeah, it's a big one. So, Erin, we're doing a few special things and a lot of surprise things that we're not going to be mentioning here today. Do you want to talk about some of the less surprising things that might be happening?
Well, I would if I got a proper intro.
Oh.
Ooh.
Shit.
Yeah, so One Piece Podcast turning 7 this year. We're going to have some cool things on the website. You can also talk to us on Twitter using the hashtag OPP7years. Tell us your favorite moments, your favorite episodes, your favorite inside jokes. We want to hear them because we're turning 7, and that's like we're almost ready for second grade.
Yeah, we're almost dead in dog years.
Whoa.
Wow. Okay.
Steve?
Thank you, Steve.
Really, that's like half a dog's lifespan.
Yeah, it's
Well, maybe if like a Shih Tzu.
like a 7 is like a Bernese Mountain Dog, maybe, but like you got to be like a big dog to have
Like
that
a
even
Saint
be
Bernard.
close. Yeah, maybe.
Hashtag OPP7years. My favorite point was when they talked about dying dogs.
See, that's how it works. That's how it works.
I don't even remember that. When did that happen?
Anyway, thank you, Erin. Sorry for... Yeah, I'm sorry. Anyway, also want to mention, Chow put up a really cool article this week. It's all about translation and names and how difficult it is to do that. I'm sure Stephen couldn't relate at all to that. You can check that out on our website.
It really was. It's a really good article. It explains a lot of the things that go into deciding how to translate names and like the weird ways that Japanese and English work together or against each other. So it's a good read if you're interested in that kind of stuff, in that sort of stuff.
Finally, I just want to remind people, Anime Fans Give Back to Kumamoto remains open. It will remain open for as long as the charity remains open. You could go on our website, onepiecepodcast.com, or if you don't see it there, you could always go to our Global Giving page. That's at globalgiving.org/fundraisers/Anime Fans Give Back. So, with that out of the way, you guys ready to get into the show?
I sure am.
Yes.
How you doing?
It's the beginning of the month, so it's time to talk about the latest Patreon fan projects. Now, if you want your project mentioned on the show, just go to patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast and choose the reward to have your project mentioned. This month, the project is from Shauna, who has noartificialfruitjuice.tumblr.com. And that is an art blog where she does her fan art, and a lot of it, or some of it, is One Piece. So please check that out. Again, that is noartificialfruitjuice.tumblr.com. And there's one more patron. It's from Christian, and his project Shadow Soul at Terlato Comics still has one more month until it comes back. There are 9 chapters. So if anyone's interested in picking it up or looking at it, check it out at terlatocomics.com. That's TERLATO comics.com. We're going to be making a lot of changes and additions to our Patreon page over the next month to celebrate our 7th anniversary. So make sure to keep an eye out at patreon.com/One Piece Podcast, or get in early and become a patron today. Patreon.com/One Piece Podcast.
This is the anime recap for episode 739, The Strongest Creature, one of the 4 emperors, Kaido, King of the Beasts, which is basically a 3-sentence title right there. The title card begins at 3 minutes and 56 seconds, and today we have Zach.
Hey.
And we have Steve.
Hey, what's up?
And once again, we have our good friend Erin.
Yay, it's me.
All right. Yeah, I mean, as far as... just a rundown of the staff real quick. Screenplay this week is by... This is going to be a tough one. Atsuhiro Tomioka. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Never mind. Episode director / storyboard artist was Satoshi Ito, who I actually recognized by name. I remember he was the guy who did 696, which is the one where Law finally gets uncuffed, which is one of my favorite episodes of Dressrosa. So I'm happy to see a good episode given to a good director. And then animation director by Isamu Takara. And then from there, you guys ready to get on to the bulk of the recap?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
I mean, it's what we're here for, but do we have to be here for that?
No, this week we do.
All right. So the episode opens on Kiros' little cabin once again. Everyone continues to sleep. We see Robin picking up Luffy's hat and setting it next to his head, saying that she knows Luffy will be disappointed to wake up and see that Sabo has left. Frankie's crying already, like he's, sort of tooling away at his eye as he has been for the last 3 episodes.
He's missing a lot more of his face than I recalled, but
yeah. Damn, I can barely fix myself, he says, and Robin puts her hands up as if she's going to sprout some hands, offering him some help, which I don't really understand what she means by that.
I think the shippers know what she means by that.
Yeah, right. Kiros wakes up saying he heard the story from about halfway in, which is, the good episode of those 2 episodes, basically. Lets Zoro know that there might be alcohol in the cellar under the kitchen floor, which is not what he was saying a few episodes ago. So Kiros is a little two-faced, I guess. We cut to a little later, and we have a kind of an interesting scene of Zoro and Kiros sharing some alcohol, and Zoro mentions that he would like to spar with Kiros one day, which is really interesting to hear, because you don't think of that as being something that Zoro thinks about a lot, just sparring.
Well, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I know. It's just I don't know. I don't think I've heard Zoro say something like that before. It's not like Dragon Ball Z where all the characters love sparring all the time.
I want to fight with you again.
Right.
Yeah, it's not like Zoro defeated Mr. One. He was like, I hope you come back as a good guy, and we'll fight again, which is sort of kind of what happened,
I guess. and then Zoro, mid drink, gives the bottle back to Kiros and says, "You can have the rest." And Kiros is like, "Thanks." Oh, but it was kind of mine to begin with, so. I
hate a mooch too.
Yeah. Kiros looks outside the window. I realize that the main mountain of Dressrosa looks like a big spiky piece of poo now. And so he writes a letter and he starts taking it likely to the palace. He's got something to say to his family.
He goes with both his legs, I noticed.
Yeah, can we talk about this walk cycle here?
Did he have 2 legs?
The way it was animated, it made him look like he was walking on 2 legs.
That's how they do it, basically.
Both Oda and the anime have not really done a good job of this is how a person with 1 leg walks.
Yeah, I've said it before. The fact that Kyros has 1 leg is like the most pointless plot detail.
Thank you.
It went nowhere.
Yeah, it was never a detriment to him at all. It never slowed him down.
And I assumed that it was going to be attached to like some like really interesting story. Like his statue talks about how he only received 1 wound in the arena in his lifetime, but then that ended up being completely unrelated.
Yeah. And so like Diamante even had to shoot him in the leg he still had. It just
to get him to drop.
It was never like a handicap, and not to get too far off topic, but Dressrosa was an arc where it was all about running uphill, and that was never a problem for Kyros.
Yeah, it's one of those subplots where I just assume Oda had like one idea of where he was going to go with it, and then like in practice he ended up just not going there.
Well, maybe he didn't want to repeat himself with like what he did with Zeph.
Maybe I feel like he could have done that.
Yeah, like that was a much better story.
Yeah. And then we cut back to the ocean, a place that isn't Dressrosa for once. And I guess we've been doing that a lot these last few episodes. But still, we get to see the Thousand Sunny again. The crew are not on board, but it is anchored out in front of some giant shadowy pillar that we can assume is Zoe. I wonder what kind of place Zoe is. We transition to Zoe where it's bright and sunny, so they must be like way above the clouds. We see Sanji and Caesar walking together, and Sanji is not Sanji, but Caesar is just complaining about something or other, like he is keen to. We see a shot of a worm's eye shot of Sanji sort of walking alongside, and I noticed that there's several like really neat worm's eye shots in this episode throughout. And then basically they're talking and they get into an argument because that's just what they do. And then Sanji kicks Caesar in the balls. And, we see that Sanji's got Caesar's heart and he's using it as leverage and all that. Chopper shows up with a football helmet saying, it was the right call to come ashore. We can save them, whoever them is, but we need your help, asking Caesar. And then Caesar's just kind of going through the whole shtick of, why don't you treat me more nicely, blah, blah, blah. We cut to Nami, Brook, and Momonosuke running away from something. Nami notes that it's kind of hard to run on this strange ground. It's gray, it's got bumps, it's kind of soft. It's like, man, they're giving us all these puzzle pieces, but I have no idea what they could be adding up to.
It's almost like they want us to like stay tuned for the next episode.
I know, right? Yeah. Nami trips. Brook tries to jump in the way to save her, but then she just ends up like riding him as they like crash into a tree. It was kind of weird action. But then some strangers riding on an alligator show up, and they've got horns, and they're wondering how the Straw Hats invaded the island. And before the fight can continue too much, we see some kind of volcano in the distance, exploding water. Which is not normally what volcanoes do, so we have to assume that this is a unique island.
It's a good thing it wasn't a normal volcano, or else our heroes would be quite dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, liquid hot magma flying on top of everyone probably would not.
Well, once it leaves the volcano, it's actually loud.
Oh, you're correct. Of course. Yes.
See,
I mean, assuming that half our crew are like devil fruit users right now. Water isn't a great alternative, but they get washed away. Nami is hanging Momo and Brook across a log, like their clothes drying in the sun.
The Brook gag is great here as well. There's
a lot of just awesome Brook stuff in this episode. Like Brook is just running on all cylinders this week.
He's definitely running on them. Yes.
Yeah. Then the attackers show up again, and they lunge at Nami. The main guy with the horns is lunging at Nami, and Brooke gets in the way, and then this sheep man sprouts these sheep's horns out of his hands and his head, and they just turn into these big curly like ram horns as Brooke clashes with his soul parade, and the ice comes out, and then Sanji is swooping in from the air. So now the whole group's meeting back up, and Sanji's coming in, and he's using his Diablo Jamba to clash with these enemies as well. And this scene just looks really great. Everything with Brooke looks great. Everything with Sanji's attack looks great. Sanji is, as usual, he's happy to see Nami, and he runs to her, and then she punches him, and then he just gets like stuck frozen in air against her fist. And the bad guys basically they retreat, saying that the samurai's not here. So we know they're looking for a samurai. Don't know if that's Momonosuke. Don't know if that's Kanjuro and Kinemon's friend. But anyway, the crew is sort of back together, and there's some mysterious animal girl with blue hair watching from behind a tree.
I just want to say before we leave this scene that this was the only part where the animation I thought got slightly wonky at times. I thought Nami looked a little odd.
Nami's eyes are always wrong.
A little cross-eyed.
Like yeah, like in every shot, like they're either like a weird shape, or they're cross-eyed, or something.
Which was, I mean, actually kind of reminiscent. I remember in the manga there were some very awkward panels with Nami.
Although I think you're thinking of some later stuff. I don't know.
Maybe. Okay.
But yeah. Because I think I know what you're talking about. I think I know you have in mind. But
okay, Sam.
Yeah, so they're sort of continuing their sort of journey through this mysterious island, and Sanji is just sort of looking at the symbol on the enemy's belts, just sort of probably wondering what that symbol could be connected to. It just feels great to be on this island. Like it's so refreshing to see.
Not Dressrosa. To see
not Dressrosa. and the place that we know is basically our next destination, and it's cool. Like, I mean, lots of green. It's
my favorite arc.
Felt very...
Not Dressrosa.
Dressrosa felt very yellow, so now we're getting an arc that feels very green coming up.
Yeah. And since you're just mentioning colors, I just want to say when volume 81, I think is the latest volume that came out, that.
The one we're talking about today. Yes.
Yeah, the one we're talking about on this episode. What order did we record these segments in? Now, when the colors were revealed of, the Zoes, the twirly hat pirates, their color schemes, I was a bit disappointed. I was like, it's a lot of orange and yellow, and I was really hoping Sanji had like a darker leather jacket. But man, do those colors really pop in this, because it's nothing but green, gray, blue, a lot of cool colors. So our heroes really stand out in these color schemes. So now I don't mind it as much.
Yeah,
but I feel really bad for anybody who wants to cosplay Sanji, because finding an orange leather jacket is going to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Right. So that brings us to our next scene. This episode is just sort of packed with really great stuff. We move to the Kid Pirate safe house, where an enormous crash happens outside. It's enormous. Like the dust clouds, there's waves. It's basically created like a mini tsunami in the area. One of Kid's ships capsizes as a result. And then all the Alliance members, Kid, Apu, Hawkins, they sort of rush out, and they see this mysterious, almost human-shaped hole, although it's way too big to be a normal human, in the ground, and they're just wondering what it could be. And Hawkins is saying, I once heard a legend about a sky island where some monster lived somewhere in the sky around here. And then he's like looking up at the sky, and it's another really great worm's eye shot, and there's a very very like heavenly vibe to the way
they are heavenly monks, right? Or fallen monks, or whatever the.
Well, Eau Rouge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like there's a shot with Hawkins.
With Hawkins. Yeah, no, that's true too. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and there's a lot of shots in this that like really, it really looks like characters like looking up to heaven, and that heaven feels like this huge, enormous place. I don't know. It's like it's just sort of a style thing.
Speaking of the whole fallen monk name, when this manga chapter originally came out, I thought it was actually Rouge that got thrown off the Sky Island.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that
figure was like, oh, so you're called the fallen monk, but you're not falling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that brings us to the next scene where we cut back a few minutes in the past, where we see another Sky Island, the Sky Island that Hawkins was likely talking about, called the ruined city of Balloon Terminal, and you can see that the whole island is being lifted up by these like millions of colorful balloons, just sort of stuck underneath the island. And we see Rouge and his men watching some shadowy figure, some giant man with horns, still hidden in the shadows. His coat is sort of waving in the wind. He's looking down. It's clear that he's going to jump. And Rouge tells his men, if he's serious, why bother stopping him? And then as this mysterious figure crosses his arms and jumps, we get a pretty lengthy sort of narration from the show saying he was looking for.
I think you mean badass narration. That's what
I think I think this is the longest the narrator has ever spoken of anything.
And it's extremely reminiscent of Whitebeard's death, like when they're listing off all the things that survived in the war. He was looking for a place to die. To sum up his life, he had been defeated 7 times as a pirate and was captured by the Navy or his enemies 18 times. He underwent torture repeatedly and had been living as a criminal. And we see Rouge praying for his soul, basically. He wanted to kill himself by jumping off a Sky Island, which is rather out of the ordinary. That is what has led to this, and then that's what brings us back to the hole in the ground, and we see that this giant man has fallen. We actually the camera follows him as he falls, which is we see him go through the clouds, and then we see the island below sort of emerge, and then he crashes, and then that brings us back to where the Kid Alliance was at. It bears repeating. He challenged the Navy and the 4 emperors single-handedly and was captured 18 times, sentenced to death 40 times. When he was hanged, the chain broke. When he was sent to the guillotine, the blade shattered. Consequently, he sank 9 giant prison ships. That means no one could kill him, even himself. And then this is when an arm emerges from the hole, and then we get this big scene. I believe the key animator for this is Naotoshi Shida, who does all the big like crazy motion, shiny animation type stuff that you see in One Piece occasionally. Usually that's all him.
Gear 4, I think, is the one that pops to my head. Yeah.
Gear 4 guy, the
guy who did it for the 3 admirals in Marineford. Is it that guy?
Yeah. Like going back pretty early. I think as early as like late Impel Down, like when Luffy's fighting Magellan. Yeah. Just like whenever the animation gets like really shiny and like really crazy all over the place, it's this guy. The man looking for a place to die, Kaido, king of the beasts. If it's 1-on-1, Kaido will win. That's what people say. On land, sea, and air, he's a pirate who is known as the strongest creature among all living things. And that's when we get to see Kaido in the flesh. This is the first time in the anime that we get to see what Kaido actually looks like beyond vague silhouettes. And he looks pretty cool. He's got the big long mustache. He's got the big... his hair and his coat are kind of like Doflamingo's, but they're a lot more kind of angular looking. And he's, shouting again to the heavens, hurry up, Joker, make preparations for this final battle. I don't care if this boring world is destroyed. Let's start the greatest war this world has ever seen. And then that's when our to be continued card hits us.
It's good. Yeah, I'll just go quick to note that really good episode. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you guys agree.
One of the best.
Yeah, like it's rare that we get an episode that is this like packed with stuff. Like we get a good look at our next new location, which it just feels good to see, and then this whole Kaido sequence is really just nuts.
It's so well paced, this entire episode.
Yeah.
It reminded me of an old episode of One Piece.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those episodes where It is stretching
No pun intended.
a
There.
manga chapter out into a 20-minute episode, but you don't feel like you really need to cut too much, which happens sometimes, and I feel like people take that for granted.
There's a lot of good material to work from, and the One Piece narrator is always great. I can't wait for what's his name, the English one, Steve.
Bill Jenkins.
Bill Jenkins to do
Bill
his
Jenkins.
version.
I'm looking for a place to die.
The just two nitpick things about Kaido. I think Greg mentioned a few weeks ago, like even as of the current manga, we have not seen Kaido's legs. Yet now I'm sorry, was really paying attention to that, and the anime just draws his legs several times, just as regular legs.
That damn Shanks took my shins.
I mean, we don't know what his lower half looks like. I guess it should be.
Now I'm only 22 stories tall.
First off, he is enormous.
It's huge.
Really big. I was expecting a slightly more crazy billowing voice. I'm really upset it's not Norio
same here.
Wakamoto. Like he would.
We got
Yeah.
Japanese Optimus Prime.
Oh, is that
we
who that
can't
was?
complain about
Yeah.
that.
I guess not. I would have liked.
Yeah. I was expecting something more booming as well.
I think a Megatron would have been better than an Optimus Prime here.
So Frank Welker.
Well, yeah,
Being Orson Welles.
Or that's Unicron.
Yeah, I know.
that would have been fine too.
That's where my mind went. That's like the only Transformers
Orson
actor I
Welles
know.
was still alive.
Orson
and
Welles.
For some reason doing voiceover in Japan. He's like, listen, I don't need this. I gotta
Yeah.
whatever crazy commercials are in Japan. I got a fish stick commercial in an hour.
They can resurrect his corpse for the Funimation dub.
Anyway, yeah, I was
That would
expecting a more
Really good
booming.
fit.
I was expecting a more booming voice, is all I said. But it was a beautiful episode. I think it had some wonky little issues, like I mentioned before, but overall, the pacing was great. It was great to see characters that I had been waiting to see forever. The Kid Alliance didn't get a lot to do or say, but it was still pretty good. I think it was handled well. I kind of wish they took some more liberties in those final scenes and how they showed it. I thought they were going to, and then they kind of just followed the manga script to the letter. But I think I can't really complain too much. It was a good episode.
Mm-hmm.
Erin?
Yeah, episodes like this are the reason why I still follow the One Piece anime, I feel like. And not only because it was really cool to see a really cool chapter, but also because, when you read a chapter like this, you go through it so quickly, and I feel like you miss so much. And it's nice to have an episode that's, a set amount of time and goes at a set pace and sort of forces you to look at all the little details that you might have missed when you read the chapter the first time. So for me, I totally missed Sheep's Head and his weird hands and Jin Rummy and everything with that. So it was really cool to
Erin,
see
you're
that.
spoiling their names.
No, it
Oh,
said
sorry.
that. It said both.
Yeah,
their
Jin
names.
Rummy was said.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
My bad.
She had an
take it back,
interesting
Erin.
voice.
I'm sorry.
She had an interesting
Yeah,
voice.
I
liked
really
it.
liked it.
Yeah, it was different. It's a lot.
Yeah,
different.
I listened to it a second time, and yeah, I actually watched this episode twice, which I don't normally do. I think also because I want to make sure I had plenty to talk about on this. Yeah, it's very unique voice. Yeah, I guess it sounded a little bit older. It's really hard to describe, but I liked it because they could have just gone with a typical Pretty Woman sounding voice, and they didn't. I haven't noticed like a character having this distinctive a voice since like Perona in the Japanese version in Thor Bark. I don't know. I want to hear more, and I really like her colors. Erin and I both agree that she does look like Jessie from Pokemon.
Right? She's beautiful.
It's the exact colors,
Yeah.
and I'm all for that.
There was one thing that I didn't notice because Steven doesn't use honorifics, but that's that they called each other Sama, like the honorable honorifics. Is that weird that I feel like one person would normally be above the other, but here they called each other that?
The feeling that I got from it was that Sheep's Head and Jin Rummy were the captains of this small group, but Sheep's Head was slightly above Jin Rummy. So she would call him Sama, but all of the lackeys would call her and him Sama.
Okay, I thought Sheep's Head called Jin Rummy also Sama. That's why. I might be wrong, but I thought
I
they
didn't catch
both
that.
did. I might have misread who said that, but
Well,
that's okay.
Zach, in modern relationships, you have to be equal. You have to call
True.
each other Sama.
That's true. I always do
Aw.
in my relationships.
Yeah, and your fiance says, "Zach, stop being a weeb."
That's exactly what happens, Steve. Sam, is there anything else you wanna mention?
I mean, I feel like I've covered most of it. I mean, I agree with just about everyone. And it's a great episode. Between the Zoe stuff and the Kaido stuff, two really fantastic segments that just are a breath of fresh air compared to just being in Dressrosa for so long.
Dressrosa! Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, let's move on to our volume recap covering the material that happens after this.
Let's do it.
The following segment contains images, so when you hear this noise, a new image will show up on your device or on YouTube at youtube.com/OnePiecePodcast if that's where you're watching. So, without further ado, let's get into the Volume 81 recap. This is our volume recap for Volume 81. Stephen, what is it called?
It is called Off to See the Cat Viper.
And what's going on the cover?
Oh my god. Is this a new record for characters on a cover?
So can anyone actually name all of these characters? I wish Jammer were here right now, but he's not.
I can do a great Jammer impression.
Okay, go for it.
All right, from the top is Mr. Skullface, and to his left is Lionheart, and to his right is Dogmouth, and then there's let's see, there's Musketeer Man 2, female dog Musketeer, Carrot,
That's the guy with the orange jacket, right?
Snagglepuss.
I'm lost now.
Magilla Gorilla, Har Hyena, and Dragon Kid. Oh, and Monkey D. Luffy.
Oh, there
And
you
Chopper.
go. You got one there. Yeah.
Sanji.
I thought
And-
that leopard's name was Pablo.
So yeah, Steven, is there anything you want to?
Oh, and there's Fat Sheep Guy.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Everybody's.
Yeah, I like the sort of camo like background style. I like it when Oda they switch up the like just flat color background. It looks cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, the like the dark green and the white is a good color combination, I think. But yeah, this is basically like, hey, welcome to the Zoe arc on this
Here's
cover.
everybody's color scheme.
Yeah, pretty much. I like how Carrots is a green cape over an orange dress, so it looks like a carrot.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that.
Nice.
That's great.
I love this cover. I'm also just a fan of this arc, so that might be part of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's nice.
It's a
So
great
why?
cover. The centered composition helps make sense of there being so many characters and stuff.
Yeah, it's not as sloppy as his usual like 3 or 4 perspective mishmash.
It's nice to have Dogstorm and Cat Viper's sides equally represented.
Also true, yeah. Also nice. We were talking about this in the anime recap, but the greenery of Zoe well represented. I think at the backgrounds here. So what's under this cover? We have an under.
What's under this cover? Okay, let me do some Foley work here. Let me just pull this cover off.
You don't need to do the Foley work.
So yeah, I believe it was last volume that we actually had multiple Panda Man sightings, and here we'll start from the top, where it looks like on Brooks' shirt, where he has these sort of, I'm going to call them pineapple ring patterns. There are 3 individual little Panda Man faces.
I only saw one, and now I see all 3.
Yeah, and there is also a little panda man right in between Nami's arm and Wanda's hat, just chilling in the little gap in the background.
Oh my god.
And if you will look down in the corner at Mr. Blackback, we have Mr. BB, the gorilla. We have a little tiny panda man just hanging out with I guess that's a cup of tea. Just
he did this in
Just
Fujitora's
chilling.
mouth once, right?
Chilling.
That one's great.
Yeah.
So this is I don't think we've had more than one Panda Man on a cover before this,
Yes,
right?
no, we
No,
did.
last volume.
Last volume.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before that, I don't think it has been. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the second
So-
time, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all good fun, and now we will look at the author's comment, which
Here,
is
I'll do the Foley work here. Okay.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Thank you.
It's like I'm there.
Nice, simple one this time, and we have 3 diagrams of what looks like some rather athletic bathing happening here, and Oda says. It sounds like I'm not sure what the term for this would be, like half bathing or half body bathing is good for your health, from what I hear. So volume 81 starts now, and I think that's like just I guess taking a bath and just only getting up to your waist or something. I'm not sure what this is. It might be a Japanese thing, but he is taking it to a more literal level where just any half of your body, as long as it's 50%, and he's doing exercises there. So
Yeah, that middle one looks dangerous.
yeah, how long can you hold your breath? And so yes, moving on to the volume, we have one of Oda's awesome kabuki illustrations for the title page here, with the volume 81. Off to see the cat viper, and this is it's pretty straightforward volume. Looks like we have 10 chapters, so it's not going to break the bank with the page numbers, and this is going to cover from chapter 807, which is 10 days before, which starts off with our first feast on Zoe with the let us garchu you, all the mink festivities, and ends with dog versus cat. Chapter 816, and the revelation that Raizo is alive. So a big old heaping helping of Zoe in this volume, and let's just get right to the SBS.
Let's start
So
the
first-
SBS.
No, you gotta wait for me to read it. I like this header. I know we've seen this person's illustrations before. I think they're probably like colored pencil or regular pencil or something, but very shading centric art in this one.
Yeah,
A bunch
that
of little
chopper
choppers.
in the top corner is intense.
Yeah.
I'm sure that this was in color originally, and I really would like to see it.
Yeah, well, the cool thing about nowadays is like pretty much all these artists have their own Twitters, and so when they get placed in the volume, they're like, "Oh, here's the original," and they show a little side by side thing. So, I'm sure there's probably a picture of it out there somewhere. But the first greeting says, "Hey, Odatsu." This guy is pulling off an accent here. "What's up, Odatsu?" Odatsu, all you ever say is dirty jokes in the SBS. So instead, we, the students, are going to carry this out instead of you. So let's start the SBS. And then he asks Oda to draw a picture of Zoro with a shaved head. And Zoro, there you go. There's Zoro. He's like, what's the big deal? What are you doing?
Maybe these people are running out of ideas. Maybe next volume Zoro goes somewhere cheap.
All right.
I want to see all of the warlords with their heads shaved next.
Yeah. Oda's like, all right, well, okay, the segment has started without me. Zoro is now shaved. I don't get it, but let's just keep going. And the next question is, what is Shirahoshi wearing on top of her head? And actually, I will admit I never really noticed this before now. I don't know, was this always there, or was it this is just like an individual panel where she was wearing this? But she has this little fish thing on her head.
I think it was always there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Oda's like, it's taiyaki, which is
The biscuit
just
things?
yes, they're pastries filled with sweet bean paste, and they are delicious. And for whatever reason, they are all baked with these special molds that make them look like fish.
That's crazy. Why is it on her head? It should be in her head.
Yeah.
What?
Huh?
Yeah, like
Should be
in
eating
her
it.
mouth, which is
Oh,
technically in her head.
I guess, yes, technically it is, yes.
Mm. So yeah, that's going to be a kind of annoying because the whole joke is that Oda's just like, yeah, it's taiyaki, but I'm going to have to actually explain what that is. So the punchiness will be lost there probably. But we move on to the next question, which is referring to the scene where Fujitora, as they are sort of ending Dressrosa, and Fujitora is impressed by the power of Straw Hat Luffy to inspire others, and he's wondering, what do you look like? What kind of features do you have? I wish I could see your face. I reckon it looks mighty kindly. And they're saying, okay, so can you draw this face that Fujitora is imagining? And so Oda draws this picture of this guy. I don't want to call him Luffy, but well, it says Straw Hat Luffy right there.
It's kind of like Zach.
Hey, I'm such a kindly guy.
Yeah, he's
God,
got the
he kind of
short
does
hair.
look like me.
He's got your rosy red cheek.
And he's got my rosy red cheeks.
He's got the rakish angle with your hat there, and Luffy's saying, "Oh, I'm kindly." So
That's my catchphrase.
No, your catchphrase is
Zach's catchphrase is, "It's really nice."
What?
I didn't realize that was a thing. So the last question here, we really stuffed him in here. The last one is about Sengoku's new gorilla. He's like, what is the name of Sengoku's gorilla? And in the original question, the reader suggests Uho-kun. Uho, because uho is the sound that the gorillas make. But since I think I did just ook, I'm going to say Ookums.
oh,
Is it?
Nobody calls ook a monkey.
yeah, it's a great ape.
Oh, man. Maybe I should do that.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
This is why we have these segments.
And Sengoku, to Ook, he's like, and you could call me Pop Pop.
And he's like, okay, is that all right, Ukuk? Can we call him that? Also, does Ukuk like the Navy brand crackers? And Oda is like, yes, it's Ukuk, the cracker loving gorilla.
It sounds like it sounds like
Very
something Chris Rock would say.
So we continue on. That is the first SBS installment, and let's see. It looks like next chapter ends with a color spread, the Sea Freak color spread. Man, what a great one! That was a great one.
Mm-hmm.
Love that illustration. And our next SBS starts with Chopper hanging out with a little frog on a rainy day. And our first question says, I don't understand how the world map of the world of One Piece works. You got the New World and the East, West, North, South, Blue, Red Line. I don't understand where they are or what's
down,
going on.
side to side.
Exactly. He's like, can you draw it up like a globe if you have to, just explain it so I can understand it. Explain like I'm 5.
By the way, I'm
like,
5.
yeah. Oda's like, oh my God, this is so novel. He's like, of course. Yes, of course it doesn't make sense. I'm sorry this manga is so unhelpful. He's like, yeah, for all these new readers, I had a simple explanation of the world of One Piece put together. It is at the end of the volume, so please do check it out. So that is indeed in the back of the volume. I did look at it. It's pretty self-explanatory. I think trying to actually describe this stuff in audio form is exactly the problem, because you need to look at it in a visual form. But at any rate, a nice little refresher on how all the stuff fits together.
Well, the best way to describe it audio-wise is, like, think of it as a beach ball, because beach balls have, like, all those different colors and those sections like that. And that's kind of like how the different seas are divided.
Stop confusing the children, Steve.
What? It's a beach ball.
Actually, that's exactly what he says here. No, actually it isn't.
Oh.
So the next question is this person wants to know about some random mob characters. Back in Dressrosa, in volume 78, he wants to know the names of the doctor who was complaining that they needed more help, and the grandma who the grandma and the granddaughter who had the little family drama where the grandma couldn't run anymore, and then she ran like hell. So, oh boy, these are going to be interesting. I remember, I don't think I'm ever going to have a sort of Mad Magazine style naming thing that worked out as well as the old guy in the stadium, the Dresselmania fan who was like, oh, I remember that guy, because his name ended up being Saw Your Way Back, which was because his name was like saw you a long time ago in Japanese. And he's doing a similar thing here, so I have no idea how these are going to turn out. It's probably going to take a while to figure them out. But the doctor's name is Tegata Ringana, which basically means we don't have enough hands or we don't have enough help. And his hobby is playing guitar. Next,
Ned Merhel.
He's got enough hands for that. Yeah.
Now do classical gas.
Yeah.
What are the
So
others?
long dental plan.
He'll be need offer more or something like that.
No,
Yeah,
Ned offer
Ned.
more. You could do Ned.
Ned Offerman.
And the old grandma who Oda helpfully labeled as dress roba, or the dress old lady, which was the old dress Olga joke with Luffy not knowing how to pronounce dress rosa and Robin imagining the old lady in a dress. Her name is Shin Detamaruka, which means like hell I'll die, or hell if I'm going to die, or something like that. And she is a former dancer. And then the granddaughter's name is Shinjaya, which means please don't die, or I don't want you to die. And she is an aspiring dancer. So
following her grandmother's footsteps.
Mm-hmm. And then the final question here is about the autographs that the Straw Hats gave to Bartolomeo, and we did go over these and pretty accurately, I have to say, given Oda's answers here. But just to refresh, we have Luffy's, which just says me. That was the signature, me. Zoro's, whose signature was just the kanji for katana. We have Frankie's, who his message, which I guessed correctly, which was to my brother, Frankie. And Robin's was indeed a rooster, as we guessed. And then setting the record straight, since there was some debate about this, Usopp's says to Bartolomeo, and it is a silhouette of his profile.
Yep.
So
and like the thing that he shoots at Sugar the second time, kind of.
Well, sort of, but I mean that's basically they're both basically the same thing, which
It's
is
his
to say,
face. That's his face
Yeah.
said.
It's
his nose, and his head, and then his ponytail.
and then his hair. Yep. And so that is what they were. And of course, we were able to. We had the luxury of zooming in. It's if you're looking at the page, it's a lot smaller in person.
We correctly guessed all of these.
Yeah, we did a very
Yeah, I
good
think
job.
we did. Yeah, we
Usopp's
definitely
was
weren't.
Oh,
Joey,
sorry.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say the thing that kind of gave Usopp's away to me is that isn't his Jolly Roger, his new Jolly Roger, is sort of the same silhouette of his face.
Yeah, I think that was mentioned as evidence that was what this signature was, which I didn't remember that was his new mark. But yeah, well spotted. And the next SBS page, we have a nice little illustration of Alvida spelling out the SBS with her slidey powers, her slip fruit. And oh boy, this whole page, if you will recall, I think it was volume 79, which hasn't come out yet. But that is the one that's going to have the whole birthday calendar in it. And Oda put out the call, please, fill in all the empty days with birthdays for characters who haven't been given a birthday yet, using whatever rationale you possibly can. And oh boy, we have some whoppers in this one. So this whole page is just stuff that people sent in. So let's see. Violet is April 30th. And let's see, Sumire. Yes, the violet flower is named Sumire in Japanese, which I think might be a sort of like an old traditional way to say the 30th of the month or something like that. And let's see, 4 is Chinese. In Chinese is Su. I have no idea. Anyways,
isn't Shigatsu, if it's in Chinese, Su, and then 30 would be me, and 0 would be they. So Sumire.
oh, good call.
Ooh.
Nice one.
Wow, you should work for Vizern.
Yeah, you should be doing my job. You want to write all these up for me?
Yeah, then you'll be the special guest on the podcast.
Ooh. My wildest dream.
Then you'll
Wow.
get your own side
Get better
con.
dreams.
Don't tear me down here. This is all I live for.
Yes, Your Majesty.
It's
Your Honor.
Yeah, you're the Majesty.
Poobah.
That is accurate. Yes.
Next on the list, Gin is April 7th because 47 is the elemental number for silver, which is Gin. That's a good one. I like that. That is cool. Miss Valentine's is February 14th. How the fuck was that not already done?
Everyone thought it was too obvious.
I guess so.
Wait, explain it to me, Steven. How does this work?
That was a legitimate surprise.
Yeah, no, I literally, because I just skimmed over this. I was like, okay, these are all, this is all birthday stuff. On a similar note, Miss Father's Day is June 21st. That is
Father's Day.
Yep. Leo is,
Or is Miss Father's Day birthday like, a certain Sunday every year? It fluctuates.
Let's see. Leo is July 24th, which is the first day of the Leo sign.
Oh, that's very clever.
cool.
Yeah, these are much more clever than usual, especially Ms. Valentine's Day.
This is bullshit. None of these are May 26th yet. That entire stupid fucking calendar doesn't have my birthday in it.
Me neither.
I have 2 characters.
I have 3.
Oh, a la-di-da.
Yeah. well,
I don't know if anyone's born on my day. I forget. I think there is, but they're like some Marine, so who gives a crap?
Wait, Steve. I'm Usopp.
Oi, Usopp.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Ron.
sure you. You all are. You're all Usopp. He's Usopp. I'm Usopp. Is there any Usopps I don't know about?
I was saying Boosop.
Hi,
That-
Steven.
So all of those suggestions came from someone who mentions that their birthday is December 14th. So someone please think of a character for me, and Oda sort of laughs that that's funny. You don't have a character with your birthday yet.
It's too close to home for me.
Yeah. And let's see. Next is Kuina, and this is just a straight number two letter like pronunciation thing. Ku for 9, E for Ichi, and Nana for 7 Kuina. So that's September 17th. And following that, we have Everyone Loves Penguin and Shachi. And Penguin
loves Shachi just a little bit more.
Yes, he does. Nobody loves Millhouse. Penguin is April 25th, which is World Penguin Day. I believe it.
Yeah, no, that just passed, and I actually tweeted a picture of Penguin from One Piece to celebrate.
Did you guys get off that day?
Did you not?
Phrasing.
Oh, it works both ways.
And Shachi is April 7th because, it's she and she, yeah, chi. And she is 4, and chi is, I guess, for 7.
Wait.
I'm not sure.
He
I'm blanking on that.
He and Gin can have a birthday party together.
It would have been better if it was the release date of Free Willy in theaters.
Steven, well, first off, that's a whale. Isn't Shachi a shark?
Killer whale.
Killer whale.
Oh, it's a killer whale. Okay. Never mind.
Kills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that would be she for 4, and then Shichi for 7. So April 7th. And then lastly, we have Kuros's birthday, which is going to be September 22nd. And it is because...
Wait, I
so
get it.
Japanese,
There's 2 2s because it's ironic because he only has 1 leg.
No, it's even better.
Oh.
So in Japanese, it's pronounced Kuros. So Q for 9. Mm-hmm. And then the 2 2 is because he's doing the double peace sign with his hands. So September 22nd.
When does he do that?
Perfect.
What, like all the time?
And Oda says, okay, thanks, guys. Wow, you really stretched for some of these.
I agree.
And he's like, but as long as it fills the calendar, I literally don't care.
He said that? I love Oda's vitriol. You never hear that.
Yeah, he's like, finders keepers, basically.
He's like, are you kidding? This is One Piece. This is literally the most inconsequential thing.
Wait, Ms. Valentine's Day. Your birthday is on Valentine's Day? That seems a little too coincidental for me. What's next?
And that's why
Crocodile was originally probably like, and you'll be Miss President's Day. And she's like, ooh, I was born on the 14th. Can we just do the whole Valentine's Day thing? By the way, I talk like a Southern belle for some reason. We're just going to go with that. I'm done. It's President's Day.
Miss President's Day. I'm here to teach you about presidential history. And that's all she does. She just talks about that. Anyway, what's
That's
on the
her devil power.
That's her
Her devil for power speaking Hamilton, even though he wasn't a president.
John Quincy Adams lost in the 1820
Yes,
election.
we all know that Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire.
Her devil for power is to get pneumonia the day of her commencement and then die 30 days later.
She is the William Henry Harrison fruit.
Next XBS, we start with a header of Fukuro, whose name means owl, in case you didn't know that, and he's hanging with his people here.
Hey, Zach, look, it's a moon.
Ooh,
It is.
that could mean anything.
It could. This whole page is it's mostly about the Yonta Maria fleet, but it also goes into some of the other ships of the Big Straw Hat Alliance. And So this guy is asking. He points out when we get that big spread of the Yonta Maria fleet. You know, if you look closely at the sails of the ships, you can see there's a 3 Tamaria or a Santa Maria, and then a 2 Tamaria or a Nita Maria, which of course is the whole joke. Is the Yonta Maria is like it's like the Santa Maria from Christopher Columbus, except there's 4. Yon is 4 instead of San 3. So he's like, is this sort of like the ranks of the ships? And did Columbus, who is Orlumbus's like presumed sort of second in command guy, is he writing on the Santa Maria, the 3 Tamaria? Also, did the picture of the egg on the sail there come from the Columbus egg? And I forget, did we talk about that? It sounds familiar, but I don't actually remember what that is.
I have no idea
Columbus
what
egg?
that is.
Wow, the one thing that I didn't
like-
look up.
The only thing I know is that's like a plot to a Lupin movie, so I can't help.
Maybe it's like a treasure or something. So at any rate, yes, Oda confirms that his assumptions are correct, and there are basically 3 ranks of ships in the Yonta fleet.
Really quick, the egg of Columbus refers to a brilliant idea or discovery that seems simple or easy after the fact. So kind of referring to the apocryphal story that Christopher Columbus discovered America completely by accident.
I think we discussed that when that chapter came out. It sounds
does
familiar.
sound familiar to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe someone sent in a piece together or something.
Yeah, it's possible too.
Yes, but there are 3 ranks in the Yonta Maria fleet. At the front, there are 50 different Nita Marias, and then there are 5 larger Santa Marias, and then the big mothership is the lone Yonta Maria. So that's how his fleet works. And then in the Happo Sui army, we have 1 big Happosai and then 7 armored Ipposais, which is basically, they have the kanji for the number. Hap is hachi for 8, and then there's Ipposai, which is just 1.
I love
treasure.
the designs for those ships so much.
Yeah, those are really cool.
They're really cool. I would
Yeah, I
buy
think
those figures.
I think we found out that those were like based on like Korean ships or something. I remember people sending in pictures and stuff. They're very cool. Let's see, what else do we have here? Cavendish's ship is called the oh boy, how would I translate this?
The White Lightning.
The White Horse in the Sleeping Forest, which is suitably
That
pretentious, I
rolls
guess.
right off the tongue.
I think Toy Animation came up with the title.
Is that like a Snow White thing?
Yeah, kind of.
No,
Yeah.
Steve, it would be the white horse approaches, the sleeping forest is near, or something.
Yeah.
Isn't it like a Sleeping Beauty thing?
It could be,
Mori
but
no
it's-
Bijo?
Is that what they call the Sleeping Beauty in Japanese? The Beauty in the Sleeping Forest? Something like that.
Yeah.
Erin, if you say it, none of us here will know.
What? Sleeping Beauty?
Just sound confident.
Just sound
and say
confident.
Yes.
No, I swear. I thought it was Nemureru Mori no Bijo.
Could be. I don't know. That's stuff I'll have to look up when I actually put
Yeah.
this stuff together.
See, this is why you're the one doing the work, Stephen, not me.
Yeah, I have to do all the work. And next we have Hyruden's Viking ship, which is the Naglfar, which is an actual it's an actual Norse mythological ship, which is, I believe, I was just looking this up. This is one of the things I actually did look up before recording this. That it is it's a mythological ship that means nail ship, but not nail as in like metal nails. It's nails as in like toenails and fingernails.
Yum.
And it has something to do with the Ragnarok, the apocalypse. So that sounds pretty badass.
It does sound
and-
pretty badass.
And then he finishes with, and Bartolomeo's that thing. He just has a picture of his Luffy ship. And then he points out that Ideo and Leo don't have their own ships. Ideo is riding with Orlumbus, and obviously Leo just was sort of cruising around with the little bug.
Yeah, Deo took an Uber over to Dressrosa.
I was wondering, how the hell did he get there?
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, and of course, all of these details, you don't need to know any of these things, which is, something he says whenever he just divulges a bunch of really random info like that. So that is it for that segment. Moving on to the next. We have a pretty cool dice rolling header here where they are rolling the dice.
Picture.
Yeah, still creepy, even in the fan art. Is the rolling the SBS, and Fujitora is like, really? Is that really what it says?
Okay, I'm not trying to pander to dude, but Fujitora looks a lot like Salacious Crumb.
Salacious Crumb?
Salacious Crumb?
Salacious Crumb?
Salacious. I don't know.
It's salacious, like the
Salacious.
like the adjective.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he looks like that.
Yeah,
I like.
Yeah, kind of. He kind of looks like he kind of has a Bill Cosby face, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Why would you do that to Fujitora?
I'm sorry, I didn't do it. That person did it.
Yes.
Whoever drew that.
So,
I also-
do you suppose that Fujitora bet on S?
He bet on SBS. I like to. I don't know if you can see it in the picture, but the kanji above his head is like drawn like really creepy looking with like a face, and it's holding a knife, and I don't know. It's like, is it about to play like the knife game or something?
With the
I-
fingers, you
Mumbledy
mean?
Mumbledy Peg, yeah.
This is apropos of, well, I mean, not completely nothing, but I kind of hope that Fujitora is in film gold at the casino.
Oh yeah.
That'd be nice. That'd be a nice cameo.
Yeah.
I'd like that. So yeah, this is our sort of miscellaneous info about a certain group section of the SBS, where the person writing in asked, what are the favorite and least favorite foods of all of the big rookies aside from Luffy and Zoro? Does Bonnie even have a least favorite kind of food? So we're going to go through all these here. First off, Kid loves cabbage rolls, and he hates curry udon, which is a shame because that is a damn tasty dish.
Yeah, Kid, you're lame.
Yeah.
Next is Killer, who loves pepperoncino and hates curry udon.
Oh.
So
Whoa.
That's why they get
Hang
along.
out.
Yeah.
yeah,
Got a couple of haters. Got
Yeah.
a couple of haters.
The pepperoncino is the pasta, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
I was about to say, like, he's always slurping pasta. If you were going to tell me his favorite food is fried chicken, I would have called bullshit.
It's got
He loves it. He just can't fit it through those holes.
exactly. He has to eat everything in pasta form. So
Gets one of those
next
Aziz Ansari pasta thing makers, and he just
Oh,
puts
God.
anything in them.
Next we have Apu, whose favorite food is tom yum kun, and that is a
Tom yum soup?
Yes, tom yum soup. The
Yeah.
Thai soup, which is, what is that? It's like shrimp or prawns and like a sort of curry, coconut curry sauce.
Yeah.
This
Gotta get
sounds
the
good,
milk.
and I'm going to be getting this next time I go to a Thai restaurant.
Yeah,
It's
it's very
great.
very popular. And his least favorite food is mayonnaise. Which I guess, if you want to call that a food all on its own.
I'm with you, Apu.
Yeah, me too.
Depends
me
on your
too.
life choices.
Me and your mom never gave you just a big bowl of mayonnaise for dinner when
Yeah.
you were a kid.
Well, I'm sure Ed could attest that there are certain people who would just eat mayonnaise. Not Ed, but someone we both
Yeah,
know.
no, but we know a guy.
Ham and mayonnaise sandwich.
That's my main man there, mayonnaise.
Okay. Next is Arouge, whose favorites are Azuki, which is red bean paste. Or wait, no, that's just the red beans, I
It's
think.
just the beans.
Yeah. And pork. And his least favorite is vegetables.
Ooh,
So
bunch of
he-
vegetables.
So he wines and dines on pork and beans.
I guess so.
Pork and beans. Pork and beans.
Pork and beans. Next, we have Hawkins, whose favorite food is fortune cookies.
Yuck,
How
yuck, yuck,
poor
yuck,
is he?
That'd be really funny if he just like, I don't know, he was super malnourished because that's all he ate.
And his least favorite food is meat. So I guess it's
my god. He's one of the goth kids, isn't he?
I would just love if there was like a dramatic scene and then it cuts to him as it usually does and he's playing his cards and then it zooms in on his face and he says, "You have a sunny outlook on life."
Zach, a nice piece of cake is waiting for him.
Maybe he's homeless, because if I were homeless, I would just wait outside Chinese food restaurants all the time and just get fortune cookies because they're just like right there.
I hate fortune cookies. They're so
Yeah, like
so awful.
I'll eat fortune cookies when I get Chinese food, but I'm never like, oh man, can't wait for that fortune cookie. It tastes like vanilla paper. It's
Yeah, well, at least the paper tastes like vanilla. Not
What's next?
So
Yeah.
next we have Drake, whose favorite food is chicken and rice, and his least favorite is eggs. So
chicken and rice makes me convinced that Drake is also homeless, or he's just poor.
Wow.
Also,
no,
he's
he's just on a diet.
he's eating
Yeah,
his.
it's actually a specialty of like Singapore, actually, the Hainan chicken rice.
He's eating his descendants. I mean, that's the problem there.
Yeah.
I get it. Because his hair looks like a rooster.
No, it is not why. God damn it.
And next we have Law. I think we already knew this stuff. His favorite food is
Bread.
onigiri, rice balls, and grilled fish. And his least favorite is bread and umeboshi, or pickled plums.
Pandering to the Japanese now.
Yeah,
Yes.
but him and Kureha would butt heads because Kureha loves pickled plums.
Oh yeah, she does.
It's the secret to her youth.
To her youth.
I beat him.
Well, that does not bode well for Law's aging.
Yeah. Next
Good.
we have Capone, whose favorite is meat dumplings and tomatoes, and his least favorite is tomato juice.
Like Clamato.
Confusing.
Just tomato juice. And lastly, we have Bonnie, whose favorite is a margarita pizza. Right on, sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew she
Yeah.
was the one piece. I've been saying it this whole time.
The one piece of pizza.
Yeah.
That's the One Pieces, guys. Spoiler. We're done. Podcast over.
All
I
right.
think some conspiracy theories might come from her least favorite food.
Her least favorite food is carrots. Is she
Oh.
carrots, mom?
Yeah.
They had a real fraught relationship.
Yeah. Oh boy. So yeah, that's the info roundup here, and our next question is oh man, this question is, hi, I want to be an excellent mangaka just like you, Odachi. So my question is, what do I need to draw manga? Also, teach me how to draw, please, please, please. And not asked, how do I be a voice actor?
It's
So-
pretty much the equivalent though of that question.
Exactly.
Hey, can you show me all like the steps you taken so I don't have to work as hard?
Exactly. And Oda's like, what? I'm sorry. What did you just say? Did you just call me excellent? Could you repeat that? I didn't hit record yet. And so he's like, okay, yes. Well, I get these questions all the time. Teach me. And that's obviously not the kind of thing that he can answer in the SBS. So as it happens, there's recently been a book put out, or a magazine. I'm not sure if it's a book or a magazine, called Jump Ryu, or Jump Style.
It's a magazine that comes with a DVD.
Maybe it's a magazine and a book.
It's kind of a muck, yeah.
Yeah.
Kino Kuniya was
Nuke.
selling the Naruto version of this last time I went, and I'm hoping
cool.
that they will eventually have the One Piece one. I will get my hands on
That'd
it.
be nice. Yeah, that'd be nice. It's tricky because in Japanese they will often refer to magazines as books, just casually. So yes, he's saying this is a little publication that with a DVD that has recordings of the various authors in Jump making their manga, and it might help you. It might be an inspiration, or it might not. And anyways, he said, I would not have taken this on. I would not have accepted, them letting them come in and record and do all that stuff if it wasn't, put together by the former One Piece editor Habuyan, which I think he is referring to Habuta, maybe? Was that the name? I don't know. Greg would know. Who is a person whom Oda owes a great personal debt. So he was like, okay, fine, for you, I'll do it. And he says it's definitely a rare project. It's not the kind of thing that comes along every day. There's even some other authors, artists that I would like to see their work in action. So if you're interested, definitely check it out. And he also includes a note to this particular person who asked the question. Also, sorry if it is a little on the expensive side, because I'm sure with the DVD they're probably quite expensive for a magazine. So there you go. There's that.
We posted those interviews, by the way, or at least like portions of those interviews on our website.
This came out a little while back.
Yeah.
So our next SBS after this is oh boy, this is Zoro trying to meditate, I guess, and Perona and her ghosts are tempting him with the scent of spirits, alcohol.
Oh, the spirits are
You got spirits.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. So the question here is something that not at all surprised to see this collected in the SBS here. It is about Cho's Nekomamushi song, the Cat Viper song. And so Oda points it out that yes, this is this song that Brooks sings in the manga was based off of this this volume has that scene. And yes, he says go look up on YouTube the off to see the Cat Viper, Nekomamushi no Danna ni ai ni yuko,
Which are the lyrics
yes,
over and over.
Mm-hmm. And he says there's one that has, let's see, verse 1 and verse 3 with backing performance. He says please search for that on YouTube. That was sung by Brooks' voice actor Cho-san, and the lyrics and song were written by his wife, whom Oda calls Choco. I don't think that's her real name, but let's go with that. And
It was written years ago, wasn't it?
yes, and he says I love this song, and it was years ago, and I said to Cho, can I have Brooks sing this? And with Cho and his wife's permission, he set it up. It's a little different than it was originally written, at least in style. But that was the birth of the birth of just the Cat Viper in general, Nekomamushi. No
Wait,
Dan.
so Cho's wife wrote the song.
That's what he says here. Yes. And so Cho was just singing it in his little YouTube videos.
And she is referred to as Choco.
That's
Choco.
really cute.
Did she also ask for a plum and a derby hat swimming in cologne?
Wow.
It's a single plum floating in it. It's served. No, it's a single plum floating in perfume served in man's hat. Steve,
There you go.
that's correct.
Oh God, I think the joke just wasn't gotten till you corrected.
Mhm.
Yes.
So Oda can't wait to hear Brooks sing this in the anime.
Me either.
And that'd be cool. And then I love this question. This is so great. Okay, so this person says, all right, Oda Sensei, I have counted through the entire series the number of times that each of these Straw Hats has done a tsukomi, or in other words, like the "What are you doing? What are you talking about?" Shouted often with a smack with the back of the hand, whoosh, like that, or perhaps with a folding fan, smack them over the head, wham. That is the traditional style, and so they've counted them up for each of the 9 Straw Hats and put them in order. And I can't speak for anyone else, but I was not surprised by the top 2. So number 1, far and away, with 458 times, was Usopp. As the audience surrogate, the guy who is yelling at how silly everything is that's going on. Number 2 at 295 is Nami.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
she's who I kind of immediately think of as
Right.
doing that.
Right. They are the sensible ones. And the sensible and the excitable ones. Number 3 at 263 is Zoro, which is a bit of a surprise. Number 4 at 246, close behind, is Sanji. And then dipping down quite a bit at 5 for 129 times is Chopper. Followed at number 6 with 112 is Luffy. Then number 7, 92 times is Frankie. And then all the way at the bottom here, number 8, 16 times is Robin.
It's
and
shocking.
then 15 times for Brooke.
I'm actually surprised Brooke hasn't surpassed Robin, even though he's been on the crew much less time.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever seen her. Well,
It's
make
not the
a
same.
face.
Yeah, it's not the physical reaction. It would be like, don't ever make that crazy face again.
That one.
Frankie, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Where she just kind of does the real subtle thing.
I do appreciate that the thumbnail we have of Frankie was when Chopper was giving him different beverages to fuel him in Enia's lobby.
And how
Yeah,
can you
actually-
even
that
see
cracks-
that?
The one that cracks me up is the Chopper freaking out.
Yes. Chopper's thumbnail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yes.
that's
And,
that's
We also have for reference, 57 times Buggy has done this, and 40 for Vivi.
yeah. Buggy does it like every other panel.
Yeah. That's what
Buggy's
he
face
does.
just stuck like that.
Yep. And this took the reader 1.5 months to go through. That was up through volume 80. And and Oda's like, man, you must be bored. Whoosh.
You know I judge, but we've been doing this podcast for 7 years.
Yeah. Or as I the joke that immediately popped into my head when I saw Oda is just Oda, he should just bust through the wall and go, "Art thou bored?" Slim Jim commercial.
Yep.
And then he says, "Okay, put me down for 1."
That's fun.
And he's like, "Wow, that was a lot of counting. Thank you very much. This is really fascinating." And then he too points out, "Wow, Zoro had a lot." So
Yeah. I bet actually with the other people opening the SBSs for him, Oda's done it quite a few times.
yeah,
this year.
you're probably right. There's probably a lot in the SBS. Maybe someone will do a follow up on that one. And let's see. Here we go. Last SBS segment for this volume. Really cool cover on here. It's actually kind of hard to see, but it's Doflamingo.
He
And-
busted the mountain.
Yeah, I think it's like when he gets smashed into the ground or something like that.
He goes flying into the side of the plateau. He makes like his body shape.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. And this first question, again, this is a great one. So this person wants to know, can you draw the picture of Gambia's old grandma from the Bartow Club crew?
Yes.
And she must look really nice, he says. And so Oda's answer here is pretty spectacular. It's like, okay, here's grandma. So actually, she is not related to anyone in the Barto Club. You see, the Barto Club was they basically just grew out of this little group of ruffian friends out in the countryside, and they ended up, growing into this big giant street gang, basically. And eventually, they really fell in love with the Straw Hat crew, and then like the best and brightest of the group went to go travel to sea and to be pirates. So Grandma here is just the old lady who ran the little candy store that they used to go to when they were kids, and she's just kind of she's a support system. She's a source of strength for the group, and she's always known just tons of little trivia things. And so it's been, she's been a great help, not always to the group, as they kind of went out to the sea in their ignorance. And then he includes in parentheses, mostly not really helping. And then he drew the grandma here. She's kind of doing the what? Or I don't know, maybe she's waving, but she's saying, don't do too much killing now.
Have a good time now.
Yeah, which actually, in retrospect, is a little bittersweet because obviously we found out from his comments that probably within a few weeks of this volume coming out was when he noted that his grandma, who was the one who had told him not to use words like "I'll kill you" in the manga, had passed away. So. Mm-hmm. Little touch of home there. And then our final question here is about this scene kind of in the wrap up of Dressrosa, when the Tentadas have the Tentadas are stealing all the weapons of the Marines when they're supposed to be rounding up the Straw Hats and all the pirates and stuff. And there's this scene where they're like, all of our bullets and our gunpowder are gone from our weapons, and so they're supposed to be looking for weapons, looking for bullets. Well, bullets in shorthand in Japanese are just tama, which is literally just balls. And so
Ed really likes this joke.
Look at him! Look at this guy.
My balls aren't there.
Yeah. So, this person who wrote in is asking. It looks like he's looking for his own, let's say, rounds, his own little round ones. Did he find any? And Oda says, rest assured, he found two. That is it for the SBS.
What a note to end on there.
Yeah. Great.
The only dick joke.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, and it's actually a funny one.
Actually pretty funny, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when we go to the back, there was the aforementioned kind of breakdown of the globe of One Piece, which is, again, it's nothing new. It's all just kind of rehashing material. There was also, I don't know if I'm guessing we probably covered all of this stuff on news articles for the site about new information about Film Gold that Oda talks about. I don't know if you guys want to go into what is revealed here about the people working on it and such.
Yeah, I think we've already discussed this. But Alex sounds interested, so go for it.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, obviously Oda is an executive producer on it, and he sort of jokes about how I'm the secret mastermind. I go around pouring tea for everyone, but he's clearly very excited about this, and so he introduces the animation director, which is Masayuki Sato, or Sato Masa as he calls him for short, and he introduces him as the sort of the revolutionary who brought about a new era in One Piece movies. So, this is the guy who worked with Oda the last two movies, and he's saying, Man, I asked so much of him the last 2 times. I didn't think he would actually agree to another one, but he did. So so Oda is very excited about that. The screenwriter is Tsutomu Kuroiwa, who is a veteran screenwriter. But this is his first time doing any animated works. But he's done a lot of live action movies and dramas and stuff. I don't really recognize them except for a Liar Game, which I know is a pretty popular. That definitely hit it big in the Japanese movie business. That was a manga. And lastly here, this is the thing that personally I was super, super excited about this, as I know at least Alex can attest. Music for this particular, at least the insert songs, not probably the score itself. But in keeping with the sort of casino flashy theme of the movie, is he really wanted real like big band jazz. And so he thought about a genius blues singer whom he has loved for 20 years now. And her name is Mayumi Kojima. And so she will be doing the opening track and an insert song in the film. And she, like, oh man, like, yeah, I've been listening to her.
She's really awesome.
Yeah, for at least like 10 years. There was another guy, an old friend of mine, internet friend of mine, who was a Japanese guy. He actually introduced me to a lot of like really, really cool manga back when, I was still kind of mostly into shonen stuff. And he was a Japanese guy who grew up in Detroit because his dad worked in the auto industry. And so he was like fluent in Japanese and English. He was all about Mayumi Kojima. And she's basically like, she just kind of does anything like outside of like sort of straightforward rock genres. So like she does jazz stuff, she does blues, swing, bebop, she does like really kitschy pop stuff.
It's the stuff I've heard is pretty kitschy. She's got a couple albums on Apple Music, if anybody has a streaming service, and Spotify as well.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe like the American equivalent or the English language equivalent would be someone who sings the standards?
Not really.
No.
She sings her own stuff as I can tell.
Yeah, but really cool. Like she definitely has her own style, and I think from what I can tell about the movie, like it should be a really great fit for the kind of the aesthetic that they're giving off with the film. So that's really exciting. For me personally, I think that'll work out great. And then, we do have some sketches of characters, which again is not news to anyone who's been following these things, but we kind of get a little roundup of stuff here too. With we have Guild Tesoro, who is the overseer of the casino that the casino ship that the movie is set on. We have Karina, who is a singer who has some sort of connection to Nami. We also have this great guy, Tanaka-san, he is called, who sort of looks like, Joey, what was the guy's, that Toriyama character? Like
Obochamon?
Or Obochamon? Yeah. It definitely looks like a Toriyama character, like one of his little goofy giant head, a little devil guy with these horns sticking out. That looks great. He's supposed to be a security guard. And then we have Baccarat, who is
who is gorgeous.
Yes, yeah.
And
she
does have Dorothy eyebrows a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny you point out, because I just want to say, like, the reason why she really stands out to me is because she has really defined thick eyebrows, which most. I wouldn't say most characters, but a lot of characters, and mainly the Straw Hats, they have thin eyebrows. They just have pencil line eyebrows. So
yeah, it's definitely a feature that like is kind of considered like unorthodox in anime design for sure. Is the thick eyebrows for a woman character, but that is pretty cool. Not that they're even really that thick, but just relatively speaking.
But in the One Piece world, they're like freaking Fooly Cooly eyebrows.
Yeah.
For the female designs, you have to dig for the nuances.
Right.
It's like, hey, Conus, she has lips.
Yeah, that's true. Look at that.
Yeah, so this character is she has powers, devil fruit powers that control luck. So she's basically invincible in the casino. And
Shamrock.
Lastly, we have this guy Dice, who is a big old burly Otatega. Looks like he's wearing a champion belt in this sketch. Yeah, old Hogan.
No, he looks a lot more like Randy Savage when he had the full beard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they should get Andrew Dice Clay to voice him in the dub.
It looks. Speaking of the voice, it looks like they haven't yet announced.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's been. I mean, I don't keep up with the details like as they're announced, but I'm guessing, yeah, it says it's going to be announced in Jump here in the volume, which it was put out early April, so it could have come out by now, but I guess not. Maybe they're holding.
I would
that
not be
back.
surprised they're fishing for a professional wrestler over in Japan to voice him.
Baller.
I think it was announced. I'll double check for you while you finish up.
By the way, I'm calling this. I think he's going to fight Frankie. I think Frankie's going to get a big fight in this movie.
I want to see that. I want to see that so
Suplex
bad.
time.
I want to see a fight that's not involving Sanji or Zoro. Not saying I don't want to see those characters fight, but holy crap, give me another Straw Hat fighting one-on-one with somebody.
What's the last guy's name again? That
Dice.
Dice.
And he is a table dealer. He's a big burly guy.
Oh, like the
I
best.
suggest you hit, sir.
Yes, that kind of dealer. And then down the corner we have Ray's Max, who what a great name, Ray's Max. That's awesome. And he's a legendary gambler. Yeah, he has a famous old actor, Kitaoji Kinya. Not sure. I'm not real up on Japanese actors. So yeah, that's all the cool stuff we get about Film Gold, and then looks like the rest is just all the usual ads. So
I don't think
guys,
it's been announced yet, from as far as I could tell, but that might. Yeah.
We'll find out soon, I'm sure. But that is volume 81,
packed full of goodies there. So I think we can move on to the piece together segment. You guys ready?
Okay.
Yes.
This is the Piece Together segment where we take your questions, comments, and theories. We're going to have a shorter segment than usual this week, but we're going to start with a story. Ed, you have a story?
I was working downtown DC today, and I was leaving work to come do this podcast, and I saw a guy on the street. I'm like, hey, that's a One Piece shirt. Hey, that's a One Piece podcast shirt. And it's like, I stopped a guy on the street. He's wearing a plaid shirt over his One Piece podcast shirt. I'm like, and at first he was confused. I'm like, hey, like, that's my shirt. I'm like, I'm Ed.
This is awesome. You stole my shirt.
No. Then you should have been like, no, keep it. Suits it.
I think it'd be even better if you just walked past him but did your whole piece the tweet.
Oh my god. But yeah, shout out to Chris Bachman, local DC guy. Yeah, it's cool. I haven't really seen one of those out in the wild like that. I mean, there are real people out there listening to this show, man.
Yeah, that's proof.
It's great.
It's crazy.
Close to us.
Made my day, actually. It was kind of a boring, rough day at work, and that's a little bit of levity in my day. I like it.
New shirts
awesome.
coming soon. Also, good thing to plug at that moment. That's really awesome, though.
Yeah.
The closest I've had to that are at conventions. I've never done that in real life. I had someone recognize my voice like once or twice, I think, at a con, but that's the furthest that got. I'm sure that happens to Steve all the time, though.
I thought you meant like at a restaurant or something like that, and you're like, no, I need more fries.
Once grocery shopping, I saw a guy and a girl couple, I assume, shopping together wearing matching Chopper T-shirts.
Whoa.
Aww.
I mean,
cute.
On the subway, I've seen people in One Piece, either reading One Piece. I saw a person in a Kuma shirt, which by that I mean it was that Kuma symbol, the circle with the target. I've seen a lot of One Piece shirts. I've never seen a One Piece podcast one.
The store I used to work at would get a lot of tourists, so there'd be a lot of people coming in wearing Uniqlo shirts, and I would always try to be like, "Oh, hey, One Piece," and they just nothing. But there was that one time, I think it was like around the time I first came on the podcast, when I was in Disneyland wearing a One Piece shirt, and this couple, they had to be Japanese. They stopped me, and they're like, "Oh, One Piece," and the woman asked to take a picture with me. Because this was like 2009. No one was into that.
Why am I Mr. Sparkle?
So we're just going to be doing Reddit today. We apologize to all those who used other means, but there's a lot of Reddit, and we don't. It takes a lot longer to edit these episodes, so we're only going to do that this week. So what do we got, Steven?
All right, we're just gonna go through edits or go through edit.
Ed, congratulations!
Editing is on the mind here. Zach has to edit the volume recap, and since there's no issue of Jump this week, there's really not the usual deluge of questions. So we'll just go through these real quick. Our first question is from It's Spaghetti Time, who says.
Great reference.
I really enjoyed your One Piece movie discussion on episode 413. Since the arcs of consequence were so awesome and film Gold will soon be released, wouldn't that be the perfect opportunity for a One Piece movie ranking? I would love listening to that.
The hell was episode 413?
Maybe if Zach has seen all the movies, then that would be a thing.
Episode 413 was a couple episodes ago. That's so weird.
Yeah. We may have just been talking about film Gold.
Sure.
It's. But also, I think we were listing off some of our favorite movies, maybe, and it was a piece together question, I believe.
I think the problem with that is that, like, unlike with the arcs, and especially like the openings, where there's a lot of debate to be had, I think there's a generally pretty hard consensus on like which movies are the good ones and which ones are the bad ones. So, a lot of it would not be that interesting, maybe.
No, I think it would be interesting. I just want to wait until Funimation gets their act together and releases the archive.
That too.
Opens the vault.
I mean, there are the subtitled UK box sets for the movies, but that's just subtitled.
And we could always rank them. It's way more fun just to do commentaries.
Oh God. We could do commentaries for all of them.
We tried movie 8 once. I don't think we should try that one again. Ugh. No.
Oh God. Oh.
No. We shouldn't try it again unless we're really drunk. What's the next question?
Yeah.
10 months later. Gentleman Bastard has a question that has been bugging him. This last chapter, we got a glimpse of Kaido's power as he seems to have messed up Kid pretty easily. Will Luffy be able to take Kaido down in a one-on-one fight, or will he have to be taken down by a supernova alliance? Should Luffy be able to take down Kaido himself to be considered a true pirate king and claim he is the most free?
No, there was some very important advice I got earlier in this episode, and that's that I will not be betting against Kaido on a one-on-one fight. No.
Yeah. I would like the idea of Luffy, because we talked about this with Doflamingo, where it's like, oh, Luffy and Law have to team up for a combo finisher, which didn't happen. And I still like that idea. I like the idea that there should be some stage where it's so difficult and it's such a ceiling for Luffy to break through that the first time, he needs help with some other guys around his level to get it done.
I think frankly, the whole crew.
This is going to be the hardest physical combat fight of the series. There's going to be devil fruit powers. We got to fight Blackbeard. We got to fight Akainu. But those are going to be power fights. I mean, devil fruit powers fights. This is going to be hand to hand combat style. So
yeah,
this might be the most difficult fight of Luffy's life. Of even the series. I don't know if it'll be there'll be a harder one after this.
But I do think that if it has been specifically stated, literally, that you can't win against Kaido in a 1-to-1 fight, that Luffy, as the hero, kind of has to defy that expectation.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Yeah. I wouldn't bet on it.
I do like what Ed said, though, that it kind of does. Just looking at Kaido, it does give me the feeling that this is going to be like another Lucci fight where that's what it's going to be. It was going to come down to just raw power, rather than like the tendencies of their powers or whatever. So that'll be interesting. That'll be exciting. Our next question is from Grizzly AR, who says, I didn't put a lot of thought on this, but here goes. Maybe Kaido is sure Law hasn't betrayed him, only betrayed Doflamingo. Maybe Law warned Kaido what was going to happen and lied, saying he was going to take on Mingo's business or something. And Kaido may be waiting for Law to betray the Straw Hats, though that won't happen. Just a random theory. What do you think?
I wasn't aware that Law had any sort of relationship with Kaido.
Yeah. Plus, even in this scenario, like it's still betraying. I mean, it's still fucking Kaido over, and shutting down his business for whatever, for his giant war that he's trying to set up. So, I don't see how that would be like, oh, good job, Law. You did just what I wanted. That doesn't make any sense, to me. So. I guess we will move on to Mistflower, who says, what do you think are the future Blackbeard Pirate versus Straw Hat matchups if they do one-on-one fights? I think, he mentions Luffy versus Teach, Usopp versus Van Augur. What are some others?
Oh, Frankie versus Burgess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zoro versus Shiryu.
Yeah.
Is it Chopper versus Doc Q?
Yeah. I'm still I'm still of the theory that that Shiri is going to have diamond power that he stole from a now dead Jozu.
Cut diamond. I like it.
Nuts.
I'm willing to bet that one of the girls is going to fight the other token girl on Blackbeard's team.
Of course.
Watatsumi is going to fight San Juan Wolf.
With Atsume,
Yeah. That's right, Watatsumi.
For Straw Hat?
That's right. He's gonna come as a package deal with Jinbei.
Yep.
I think that's clear. Yeah.
Maybe that'll be a handicap match.
Yes. And next is an anime comment from Walpurgis Knight, who says, a little disappointed that Kaido isn't voiced by Norio Wakamoto, but overall satisfied with the casting. Teshio Genda voices younger Toguro from my favorite anime, Yu Yu Hakusho. So on that topic, how do you think the Straw Hats would have fared in the Dark Tournament?
That was a 6 degree of separation question there.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I haven't watched Yu Yu Hakusho in like 7 years.
I think Steve would have to be the one.
That would be amazing. I think they do pretty well. Why shouldn't they? They're overpowered.
I think Brook would do pretty well. He's got like the soul powers. He's got the power of death.
But I think as though like Dark Tournament is like all about killing. Not necessarily like or the main heroes from Yu Yu Hakusho always killed, but Hiei was killing a lot. Kurama was killing a lot. But I think that would be pretty fun. But it'd only be 5 team members. So I'm curious what 5 Straw Hats would be on the team. I guess it would be the Monster Trio. Who would be the other 2?
Brooke and Frankie.
Say Brooke and Frankie?
Yeah.
I feel like Brooke and then the Dark Horse, Usopp.
Nice. All right, we will move on. More matchups. Zephyrus. Smoker creates a crew of 8 other Marines to match up against the Straw Hats. Who does he pick?
He's got to take both of his ladies, Tashigi and Hina, I think.
I mean, in this scenario, I guess he is somehow able to wrangle in the admirals to fight for him, jumping above rank.
Yeah.
Except there's so many Marines that have very vague powers.
Yeah.
Pass.
Yeah, that's a really tough one.
Django in full body?
Don't patronize me.
All right. Well, I guess we'll just we'll call that one a non-starter.
We
Next-
appreciate your suggestions.
Yeah. Yes. Send your suggestions. Melody 0611 wonders, do you think that Montblanc Noland will be mentioned in the upcoming Sanji flashback?
For what reasons?
He was read the story. Yeah.
If well, I mean, I guess I could only see that happening if he has some connection in some way to Germa 66, which is kind of a stretch, I guess, because he was a good guy. They sound like bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Noland played a big part in Dressrosa, kindly. So
he did get a mention.
I see it more as like a cameo. You see him reading it and then putting it away. Like not something that's pointed out, but that's like kind of in the background.
I would say it's more likely that rather than Noland, he'll probably throw another Liv Neal mention in there, since he seems to love doing that, like in the background of some random shot.
I like that.
Yeah. Duperco says, in the recent anime episode, we see that Kaido's dragon scale tattoo is red and yellow. Do you think that is the color scheme of his dragon form, assuming that is what he is?
Kaido mania running wild.
I love it.
That's what I thought when I saw some screen caps of Kaido's. I wondered that as well, if he was going to be turning into a red dragon. Which would make,
like
Momo, who's a sort of off-brand pink version, maybe make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing with that is just that seems like the sort of thing that, like, particularly with anime, but I mean, I'm sure with a lot of animated shows, when you deal with the color, they really try not to overlap colors too much, to kind of visually muddy up the picture. So next is from Sanmit DS, who asks, what race is Kaido? Do you think he's mixed something, like part giant or something else entirely?
Oh, I just think he's a huge dude. Like One Piece is full of just huge dudes, but that's a good question.
I mean, but there's also, I think, a reason we haven't seen his lower half.
At one point,
You don't
I'm
see it.
pretty
Always
sure
obscured.
on this show we've posited that he could be like a descendant of the Oars race because he has those horns.
Or he's
Yeah.
he's half Dothraki.
He certainly has Jason Momoa's tattoo, which is pretty evident.
You see, Doflamingo's just a huge dude. He's just like an 8-foot tall guy. But Kaido looks like he's way taller than that. If you ask me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Doflamingo's tall in the sense of you must have played basketball. It's not-
Exactly.
Okay.
All right.
That's next.
Sorry, it's something tall people hear all the time. So
Next from Scar Red Tiger wants to know 2 questions. What do you think of Pudding being a pretty girl as opposed to a cartoonish caricature? And is it called Germa 66 because Sanji's eyebrows look like 2 6s?
Well, we've already seen what Pudding looks like.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
what
well,
are our
what do you-
opinions that she's...
I think-
Oda's not taking an easy out with Sanji being disgusted by Pudding.
Right. Exactly.
Like, the joke doesn't work unless she's pretty.
Right.
I
Yeah.
like it. Yeah.
I mean, we don't know yet if he will be like truly tempted in any ways, but obviously it's that storyline potential will not exist unless she's super hot and Sanji's really into it.
Yeah.
But it's also
well, I
like
mean,
she
at
always
least-
has. Go ahead, Joey.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying at least we're not getting a whole story arc of ugly shaming or whatever.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I roll every time. But
Sentenced to marry Queen.
but I do like that she. No, there's something interesting about her, and she always has this sort of exasperated, put upon expression on her face. Like
Mhm.
maybe she doesn't always get along with her mother, so maybe there's a whole. Maybe they'll run off together or something. I don't know.
Yeah, she's a little pouty.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Next is from Semel Joda, who says there's a theory about Kaido going around saying that he ate the Oni fruit and not the dragon fruit, or Maybe Oni is an actual species in the One Piece world, in which case he could be an Oni that ate the dragon fruit, which would make both theories correct. This Oni thing makes a lot of sense to me because of the horns, the club, the possible immortality, and the whole Momotaro theme going on. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I mean, didn't we talk about this last week?
Yeah.
I don't. We talked about how the
Momotaro
Oni
thing.
motif, the Momotaro motif was very strong. But I think this is asking more directly, like, is it possible that he isn't a dragon after all? Or maybe, I don't know, maybe Oda is setting up one of these two kind of design motifs as a bit of a red herring, because it's still, even if he does have the Oni thing, that doesn't answer how he got up to the clouds in that one chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I still feel like the dragon part is big. It could just be that the Oni part is just sort of his thematic role in the Momotaro homage that Oda is setting up. But that would be interesting if it was somehow a combination, sort of like how, Peckham's turned out to be, a mink who also has the turtle fruit power. So it wasn't that he had like two different powers, it was that he was a lion guy all along, which is cool. So next we have Words Dear, who wants to know, do you think Kaido might target Chopper because of his Rumble Ball making abilities? That is, if Rumble Balls work on all Zoan types and not just Chopper. Imagine a Monster Point Jack. Also, Kaido wanted an all Devil Fruit user crew, so with no lifeguard, did they just all go around wearing floaties?
I think you have to have a fisherman around, and then that may help the situation. Well, actually, it doesn't really help at all.
No.
Now that I think of it, I don't think anyone else knows about the Rumble Balls.
Yeah.
I think that's assuming a lot, or some good reconnaissance from the Kaido.
It really
crew.
goes to show how special of an intellect and talent Chopper is that he was able to develop
True.
that.
You don't have to say stupid compliments like that, jackass.
Yeah, I think I hate to say this, but I kind of feel like, at least in Oda's mind, like the Rumble Balls are a little bit of an afterthought at this point. Like, I don't know, I just don't see them as a big part of Chopper's abilities. It seems like he's sort of moving past that.
Yeah, and if Chopper's powered out of those, then making villains require them wouldn't really make sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, when was the last time he used his scope ability to magically see the weakness of any enemy? It's like there are lots of things where Oda just sort of moved on, found a different role for the character.
Bring back the scope ability.
Yeah. Bosco Zen, I think this is a good question. Do you think the government knows about the road poneglyphs? And if they do, shouldn't Robin's bounty be the highest?
Yes and yes.
Well, it also speaks to how difficult the new world is to navigate and how hard it would be to find, that they don't necessarily have confidence in anyone actually being able to find all of them.
Yeah, I guess you could also argue that they're obviously, they outlaw studying the poneglyph runes, and they've killed the people who were studying them, and they still treat Nico Robin as the demon child. But maybe if they know about the road poneglyphs, they figure, why even bring it up? Like, if we can keep her from getting the information from this, then no one's the wiser. So why would we why would we make her bounty so incredibly high that everyone has to wonder what it is, what are they hiding, sort of thing. So that could be part of it. Next we have Plaid Plate, who says, when Peckham's used his turtle shell, his head sticks out, but it isn't transformed. Shouldn't he have a turtle head if he's in animal form?
Isn't it a hybrid form?
Yeah, or it's like, Chopper can turn into various like stages of transformation. So maybe he can transform parts of his body. Or maybe Oda was just like, I want him to be recognizable as Peckham.
Yeah,
It would be
Lucci
pretty
had
crazy.
all those different forms too. Go ahead, sorry, Joey.
it would be pretty crazy to see sort of halfway in between with his sort of turtle face with a mane and stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe we'll see it. It'd be interesting.
Oh no, it's Senator Mitch McConnell coming out of his shell.
Wow. So our last question on Reddit is from Pepsi Shake, who is going to throw out a theory. If I was part of the revolutionaries, I would be invading, overthrowing, or strengthening any holds on kingdoms while their leaders and bodyguards are gone at the reverie. It might explain why they aren't at their main base.
Good point.
I think that's a fantastic point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well done, Pepsi.
I was thinking about the reverie and how during the Tokugawa period in Japan, the shogunate used to require a lot of the daimyo to live in Tokyo for a couple, like a year or like a couple of months, every couple of years.
You would always have to keep someone there. It's partially as collateral and maybe as a little bit of a hostage.
Right, and I was wondering if the government sort of does the same thing with the reverie, having all the world leaders in one place.
Yeah.
And if you don't convince your ass.
That sounds about right. I like that.
Just an idea, yeah.
That's it for Reddit?
Yep.
So that's it for Piece Together this week. We will be back next week with our probably full Piece Together. I'm sure we'll have a lot of questions then for the following chapter. But for now, why don't we round off? You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
This has been episode 417 of the One Piece Podcast. Good episode today, you guys. We went through volume 81, episode 739, and some Piece Together. Can't beat that. Except that next week we'll be back with manga chapter 825. Don't forget to hashtag OPP7years all month long. We're going to be having some special stuff on the website and a big surprise at the end of the month. So pay attention to OnePiecePodcast.com for cool stuff all month long. And hashtag your favorite One Piece podcast memories from the last 7 years at hashtag OPP7years. I don't want to forget this time. So I want to thank Erin for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It's always great to have you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where can people find you?
Oh
Sorry.
Yeah, we're doing the ending.
Yeah.
Everybody can find me on all social media at Amazing Bedhead. Tweet a lot about One Piece, tweet a lot about Earthbound, tweet a lot about not being able to eat cheese anymore, which is really sad. So yeah, come and talk to me.
I won't pry, but that does sound sad.
It's really sad.
That sounds depressing. Joey, thanks for coming on. Where could people find you?
Hey, yeah, thank you for having me. They can follow me on Twitter at Joey Weiser or Tumblr, joeyweiser.tumblr.com. I have an out-of-date website that you don't need to take a look at. And
what's the URL for that website?
tragic-planet.com. Just needs to be updated real bad if I ever have time. But buy Mermin. Mermin's books 1 through 4 are available in hardcover, and in May, volume 1 is being reprinted as a softcover. So, and I'm excited about that because it's a cheaper alternative to try out the series. And and this weekend, May 7th, I believe, is Free Comic Book Day. Everyone should go out to their local comic shop and get some free stuff. I will be in Plainfield, Indiana, signing at the Androids Dungeon. Information
They
about
actually
that.
named it that?
Wait, that's
They did.
that exists in real life?
And that is information about that's on my Tumblr, so go look at it there. But yeah, I'll be giving some free sketches away, and I've actually got some free Mermin comics that I'll be giving out to kids while supplies last, so stop by and say hello.
Dude, where can people find you?
Well, you can always find me on all forms of social media, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, Vine, at Dude! All one word. If you're going to be in the Baltimore area this weekend, come and check out the P-Lander Z show on Friday night. I'll be there, and I think Art Fight's doing some sort of thing there too during the show. Speaking of art fight, I will be art fighting in Cockeysville, which is close to Baltimore, at a library. I'm not sure what time, but just check out superartfight.com for details. And speaking of, one of our art fighters, Michael Bracco, a.k.a. Baron von Sexyful, started his Kickstarter today for his comic, The Creators, in which I did a guest comic for, as some of you might remember. My guest comic being printed in the Volume 1 book is part of the stretch goals. So please back it. It's called The Creators, and just go to Kickstarter and look for it.
Stephen, I definitely want to thank you for coming on, taking the time to take us through Volume 81. Where could people find you?
Zach. Your honor.
Your honor.
Thank you. Thank you. You can follow me on Twitter at Translatosaurus.
Thank you, Your Majesty. Steve, where can people find you?
You could find me on Twitter and other social media at Steve Yurko, all one word. Follow me on Twitter, where I talk about wrestling and JoJo and wrestling, and I'll post a drawing every now and then. You know it. Also, go to my store. I have a print sale. Buy prints, get 25% off when you enter the promotional code BOOTY. That's BOOTY. BOOTY. Booty.
Never heard of it. Ed, where can people find us?
Well, Zach, you are Zach_Logan on Twitter. I am Edward E. Fasticio. The podcast is at Podword.
Hashtag Podword. No.
Fine. The podcast is at OnePiecePodcast.com, Twitter.com, YouTube.com, and Facebook.com/OnePiecePodcast. OnePiecePodcast.tumblr.com for news updates and funny pictures curated by Jill. OnePiecePodcast@gmail.com is our email address. One Piece Podcast is our Skype name. You can subscribe on SoundCloud. You can subscribe on Google Play. You can subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, or call us on our phone number. Zach?
You could call the Podword at 347-497-MAGI.
Podword.
Number again is 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Word any pod.
With your pods, your words, and your questions. Thank you guys so much. Great episode again. Really looking forward to next week, where the manga returns for a brief stint. We will be returning the following week with the return, for the first time this year, of our call-in show. So we'll see you the following week. But until next week, my name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
See you next week, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.
How you doing?